Hey y'all, this is Homeroom with Smooth. I got with me Shakeria Northcross. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's just another beautiful day in sunny California. Just trying to make it out here. What about what
Nice.
about you? What about you? Like, what's your day been like? How would work?
My day's been cool. It's been pretty smooth today. What do I have to work on today? I didn't really have too much work like client work backed up, so I'm caught up on that. But I have been preparing for a event that I'm speaking at tomorrow.
Okay, what event are you speaking at tomorrow? Plug yourself. Plug the event.
So it's not open to the public. It's for a university and it's a business event. So I'll be having a session where I'll be talking about legitimatizing your business. So
Hey, okay.
yeah,
Okay. Matter of fact, you're helping me legitimize my own thing.
yeah.
She does great work, y'all. She
So
does great work. Very professional, very professional.
thank you.
Even though me, my slow self, I get lost in the verbiage sometimes, but it's okay. That's just me. That's just me.
I try to keep it simple. I don't try to talk over people's heads when I'm.
You didn't even talk over my head. It was just like it was so well written that I overthought it. That was the problem. Because once I asked her, I said, "Oh, I clearly overthought this. I'm trying to put things where they ain't." You was very clear. I was just slow. Um, but
We got it together though, so
right.
that's a
We
good
did get it
thing.
together. You know what I'm saying?
Together.
So where'd you go? Like, where'd you get started? Like, when did you go to law school? Like, what was that like? When did you know? Matter of fact, when did you know you were like, I want to be a lawyer?
So the funny thing is, I knew at a really young age, I'm talking about like kindergarten like age, that I wanted to be in the legal field. Initially, I was in love with becoming a judge. I used to
Okay,
watch, the judge shows with my grandparents all the time.
man, the
So
beauty.
that's kind of what drew me in, and I just really wanted to become one of those judges one day. So that's what
Hmm.
put me on the path to being in the legal field. Once I got to law school, that kind of shifted. But
Hmm.
that's what drew me in.
Okay, okay. So, law school. Where'd you go? Where? How would how was that process? Where'd you go? What'd you do?
So I went to the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. I'm from
Hmm.
Arkansas, and I don't want to be negative about law school, but I would say it's not the best experience. At least I didn't have the best experience. Um, I just have to be honest about it. Every time people ask me, I
Right.
try to be very honest about my experience.
Hmm.
Um, I've always done pretty well in school. So school, like, I won't say was something that was just easy for me, but it was something that I knew how to do well.
Hmm.
So when I got to law school, that all changed. I didn't know how to do law school well, and so that was challenging. Just learning how to maneuver in that different space, and then I can't say that I really enjoyed living in Fayetteville that much either. So that was another thing that kind of made my experience go to, down, go down.
Like you didn't like being up on the hill. You didn't like
I
being
did
up on
not.
the hill.
I did not enjoy the hill.
I went. I think I've been to Fayetteville like 3 times, and each time I'm like, "Yo, how can people do this? Like your thighs is gonna be like pristine when you're done at that university because you walking home like, yo."
Yeah, the hills are pretty tough.
Mhm. Okay, so you went to law school, you graduated. Okay, so what did you decide to do with that law training? What did you decide to do?
Okay, so while in law school, I took, well, I always knew that criminal wasn't the path for me. I just wasn't interested in that. And then as I went through law school, I kind of learned that I actually don't want to be in a courtroom. That's not really my thing. And so I really enjoyed my classes that had to do with like business, so business law. I took a clinic and I helped like organizations become nonprofits or help them start and form their nonprofits, and I really really loved that. So that's what kind of drew me into wanting to go into that area of law. I also really enjoy like contracts and reading and reviewing contracts, and I really
Mhm.
love to write. Like writing has been something that I've always thrived in throughout school,
Mm.
and so I enjoy, drafting contracts, which most people probably look at it like I do not like to do that, but I don't know. It's like putting together a puzzle. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. So that's
Mhm.
what drew me into what I do now, which is business law and trademark and copyright law. So that's how
Okay.
I got involved with that.
All right. Cool. That's okay. Okay. So you got involved with business, copyright. Like helping people get the trademarks, the LLCs, or whatever. So what services do you offer? And you know what? Let's break this down like this. Okay. First,
Hmm.
let's talk about copyrights. Okay. So
Okay.
what is your piece? What is your spiel on copyrights?
So for copyrights, so copyrights are out there. The law it was created to help protect other authors or their original works from being copied by others. So for instance, if you have like your podcast recording, it helps protect your recordings from being copied or saved and reposted by other people and from other people being able to make a profit on those things. Like if you have a book, it helps protect your book from being copied word from word and
Hmm.
being resold. That's where copyright law comes into play. So it protects those type of things. What am I say? I think it's important to make sure you have your copyrights registered. And let me back up a little bit because
Okay.
one thing I think people should know is like you already own your copyright in your work once you put it in a fixed form, which means once you write it down and once you record it and you're done with that, it's you own that copyright in that work. However, when it comes to like wanting to sue people in federal court, because copyright law is governed at the federal level by federal law. When you want to sue people in federal court and have access to all the damages available, you want to make sure that you have your copyright registered with the copyright office.
Okay. So that's interesting. I did not know that. So the moment you create
Mhm.
it's actually protected. You just need to actually register it.
Mhm. Well, you own that right, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you own the. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, okay, okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna misspeak the whole time.
It's
So
okay.
yeah, you just keep it correct. Don't listen to her. Okay, don't listen to me. I'm not. This is her thing. This her. She's the expert, not me. Um. So okay, so let's get into trademarks. So what's the deal with trademarks and why is that important?
Our favorite trademarks. So, trademarks are so important because it helps to protect your brand, protect your business, protect the baby that you're working to build and that you're investing in. So with trademarks, the reason that trademark law was created is to help protect, it's really kind of to help consumers out. So it's really to help the consumers be able to distinguish which manufacturer created that, or which, service provider offers that service or manufacturer created that product. So where did this product come from? Who offers this service? It helps consumers to be able to recognize those things. So your trademark is there to protect your things like your business name, your logo, your slogan. It can protect product names, things like that. Things that help consumers identify you as the source of a product or service. And so that's important because if you don't want someone else to be able to use your business name, your reputation to, you know, do the same thing that you're doing and make money for it, then you want to make sure that those things are protected.
Okay, okay, okay. Y- Yes, yes, I agree with all of that because Yeah, we here on without saying too
Yeah.
without saying too much. We here with that. So what stage of a business's process do you think they should get their trademark? Like, what do you recommend?
So for me, if I can, in a perfect world,
In a perfect world.
in a perfect world, I love when my clients come to me and they, before they've even shared their business name with anyone, or when they're in the beginning stages and before they registered their LLC, they come and they're like, okay, I'm ready. I have this name. I want to make sure that one, it's available for me to use. I want to make sure no one else already owns it, so I don't run into legal issues with that. And I also want to form my LLC after we, make sure that this mark is available. So, in a perfect world, I think the right time to trademark your business name, especially, is before you invest in an LLC or any other type of
Mhm.
business entity, and especially before you start investing in um, like marketing. So
Yeah.
getting things put on packaging, or creating your logos and business cards and things like that, and spending this money on putting that name on something that you're not sure that you can
Mm,
own. So
right.
yeah.
Right. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. I definitely broke a couple rules there, but it's neither
It's
here nor there.
okay.
It's
It's
neither here.
okay. Like that's what I'm saying. The perfect. I mean, it doesn't always happen that way. So,
Hmm.
but it's just as long as you get on the right track, before it's too late. That's
Right.
a good thing. And I say that because I just recently I heard a horror story about a small business owner who didn't do their research before they named one of their products. And unfortunately, she received a demand letter demanding her to pay a large sum of money to this company because they own the trademark for that name. And she was using it on her products. And so she was making money from it. And so they wanted her to pay her pay money for using their name to make money. And that she had to spend more money hiring a lawyer to negotiate with them to get the price down, but she still had to end up paying them. And then on top of that, she still had to spend more money on rebranding the product. And so it just really saves you money in the long run when you go ahead and do that research, the trademark
Mhm.
research in the beginning, because you don't want to end up in that type of situation. And she was just talking about how, like, the amount that they initially asked for would have drained her children's college funds. It was like a ridiculous amount. So yeah, like
I'm
people
over
do
here
not
laughing with you,
play
Rose.
about their trademarks.
You want
They
what? Hold on.
yeah, yeah. So it gets real. And
Right.
I mean, they have the right to, because I mean, if you're using their property to make
Mhm.
money, they want their cut because it's their name, especially when it's something that's related to what they also do. And unfortunately, like the product that she was selling just so happened to be similar to something that they sold. So it was
Mm,
a bad situation.
mm. Whew.
Yeah.
Well, y'all get them trademarks. Get them trademarks.
Yeah, and do your research before, naming your business or naming products and things like that, just to make sure that someone else hasn't already trademarked that name, because that's when things really get ugly, when you start using someone else's stuff.
Okay. Okay. Great. All right. So we talked about copyrights, talked about trademarks. Last thing is LLC. So, okay, I've heard a lot about this on Twitter. They're always like, don't spend your money here. You know what I'm saying? You could have bought an LLC. You take your refund check and you invest it in your own business. And I'm like,
Get an
should I?
LLC. Hmm. I see that too.
Mhm. So what's your recommendation?
So out of all the different business entities, because there are several different kinds that you can choose from. So there are LLCs, corporations,
Hmm.
partnerships. The ones that offer you limited liability protection. I know I hear some people operating as sole props, which is just basically you decide that you're basically going to get an EIN or something, and you're going to just start selling, or you don't get an EIN, or you just start selling products, or
Mhm.
offering your services without first registering any type of business entity with your state. So people do that as well. Um, the reason why I would recommend at least getting some type of business entity, such as the LLC, corporation, or partnership registered
Mhm.
with your state, is because then you would have that limited liability protection that a sole
Mm.
prop doesn't offer you. Which, in limited liability protection, just means that if someone were to sue you and because of something related to a business transaction, they
Mhm.
wouldn't be suing you personally, but they would be suing your business. And so your personal assets wouldn't be up for grabs if you kept your ducks in a row while operating as a LLC. You and your business will remain separate, and so that's why it's important to do that. Unless you don't care about being personally responsible if things go bad with the business transaction.
Mm. Whew. Oh, personally liable. Yeah, that don't sound too good to me. Getting
No.
dragged into court, all that good stuff. Mm-mm. Nah, that ain't it. So you mentioned, okay, so what? Okay, so these different business entities, like, so can you kind of like briefly explain for people what's the differences? Because honestly, I heard of sole proprietorship or proprietor, whatever it is. Like, I had only heard of it. Like, I haven't done any research. Like, I'm familiar with LLC. I'm familiar with a corporation. Can you kind of like break those down for the people?
Okay.
Now,
So, like with a sole prop, is basically just it's no formal registration required. So you don't have to form anything with your state to have a sole prop. You just basically start selling stuff. If some people probably have sole props and they don't know, like if you start selling stuff, or offering a service or a product to people, then you're automatically considered to have a sole prop. Some people take it a step further and make sure that they get an EIN and everything registered, but there's no they don't have a business entity in place that separates them from their business. Like they
got it.
are their business basically at the legal level. When it comes to an LLC, that is a business entity that separates you from your business. And like its name says, a limited liability company, it does limit to your personal liability. Your Another thing with sole props, you're only able to have one owner with the sole prop, so only one person. If two people, then they basically have a partnership. But okay, we can get in that a little later. But with the
Mhm.
LLC, you can have more than one owner. Um, and with LLCs, the keeping up I guess the compliance requirements aren't as complex as, say, for instance, like a corporation. With a corporation, most states may require you to do more like legal formalities to keep your corporation in compliance with the state. So you may have to conduct annual meetings every year. You may have to do strict record keeping every year, things
Mhm.
like that. Whereas with the LLC, you don't have to do all that, so it's simpler to keep in compliance with your state. Um, and then we have partnerships. Basically, is when like two or more people are going into business. There are different type of partnerships, like general, limited partnerships. It just depends on what your state offers, because that it does vary from a state by state basis. So the type of partnerships that are available to people.
Okay. 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 Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Um.
I hope I didn't like go over your head.
No, no, you didn't go over my
Okay,
head. Like, I'm digesting some of the extra
each one.
information.
Okay,
I'm like,
okay.
oh, okay, wow, wow. I was like, man, I was in a sole proprietorship. I was in a partnership. I didn't even know I was. Like, I'm like thinking back on things, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, like I'm literally like, yo, I don't want to
Yeah.
be in court. Is that like I'm finna go check after this? Is that done? Like, are they still selling that? Oh, not.
Yeah,
Oh,
make sure. Just so you know. I mean, and even I don't want to make it sound like okay, if you have LLC, like that'll keep you out of court necessarily. Like you can still be sued, and you may have to like be the person who comes to court because you're representing your business, but your personal assets, like your personal car, your personal house, won't be up for grabs if you have like an LLC in place. Whereas if you don't have like or LLC or corporation partnership registered with your state. Whereas if you don't have one of those things registered with your state and you're a sole prop, then your personal assets can be taken to cover, whatever damages are granted.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, are there any other legal services that you offer, ma'am?
Contracts.
Contracts. Okay. Let's jump into it then.
Um, so okay, I'll just start here. Please don't do business without a contract.
Off the rip.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. Like, get it in writing. I don't care who you're doing business with. Like, I don't care if you are going into business with your best friend, your mother, your grandmother. Like, get a partnership agreement. Get some type of operating agreement in place that defines like how your business is ran and what each one of your roles and responsibilities look like. And what would happen if this person decides that they want to sell their interest or whatever, have that stuff,
Mhm.
documented and written down. I'll say for some contracts that I see that most entrepreneurs may need, I'll talk about that. So one of them will be like a service agreement. That if you are doing business, if you have clients like you're a service provider and you have clients like, for instance, like me, or if you're an accountant, someone like that, then you want to make sure that you have a service agreement in place when you're doing business with your clients, and that basically just lays out the who each of the parties are, the scope of your services, the payment, things like that, what to expect with that. If you can have a service based business or a product based business, and you hire the people to do work for you, then you may want to make sure that there is some type of independent contract agreement in place if they don't give you some type of service agreement, just to make sure that they understand what they're supposed to do for you, and you understand what you're supposed to do for them, what payment you're supposed to provide to them, and
Mhm.
the scope of that relationship. So those are two common contracts that I see that most entrepreneurs need. And I
Okay.
do other contracts as well, but keep it short.
Just keep it short, keep it brief. I feel it, 'cause okay. So I need to do a contract. That's what you're basically saying. I need to go ahead and get my ducks in a row because I got.
You should. I can think of a few you may need off the top of my head.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So okay. So tell people where they can find your business, like how to look you up, like how to reach you. Like this is self promotion time. Go.
Okay. So the name of my law firm is Northcross Legal, and again, like we help entrepreneurs protect their brands with the law using trademarks, copyrights, contracts, and incorporations. You can find our social media you can find us on social media under Northcross Legal on all platforms. Our website is Northcross Legal, and so yeah, pretty simple.
Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, y'all, listen, go follow. So listen, if you follow me, I'm going to make a post. You're going to be able to find her via that post, okay? Via that post. And remember, it's Northcross Legal for her actual like business. And then
Mhm.
what you say it was Northcross, what
Legal,
www.northcrosslegal.com?
yeah,
Yeah, legal.
yep.
Very simple,
On
very
all
simple.
platforms.
All platforms. She got it all. You don't even have to ask her. You know she got the copyright, the trademark, her legal stuff is in a row. She got her stuff. Like that'd be crazy. Like, no, I'm just playing. But yeah, so I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking that time to the side. I appreciate you. This has been another episode of Homeroom Smooth Podcast. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all go follow her, and we out.